borderline confidence and arrogance, but all of these young men are very confident in what they do, but certainly not arrogant at all. They're very, very obviously well brought up and good values instilled in them. And obviously their school culture, as well as their club culture, has contributed to the great young men they've become and continue to be as a result. And that's what's so great about sport. You're not just learning about the skills and the components of fitness you get from the sport itself, but some of the values that and the life lessons it teaches you.
We've been talking through the morning about the team culture as well. Athletics quite often thought of as an inherently individual sport for the most part, but there's a real team aspect here to these school championships and the GPS in particular, and that's why there's literally thousands of schoolboys here to support their compatriots.
And the athletics guys obviously will be supporting the rugby teams as well, and all the other GPS schools that go, all the GPS sports. It is sort of condensed in the season because obviously with the very clustered and very busy sports events calendar we've got, it's not a lot of opportunity to fit in, but for this 6-week period, it's all about your school. It's all about GPS championships they work towards. They have had some invitational meets leading up to it, of course. They've been very busy basically since the end of August. They've had a few invitational meets to test their form before the big dance here today.
So remember, an increase in the heights of the hurdles here up to the 99 centimetres, which is why we're spending some time just getting that sorted. It's out of picture, but our brilliant technical officials doing a wonderful job, as always, ably assisted by some of the schoolboys, just to get these hurdles to the right height. As we mentioned, Nick Andrews owns the championship record here in the Opens as well as the under-17s. He ran 13.45 as an under-17 athlete over the lower height, obviously the 91, and ran the championship record of 14.06 at the higher 99 centimetre height. So also worth giving a shout out to Nick Huff as well, the big man himself, a former School. We called him Huff Daddy for a long time, but he now is in fact Huff Daddy. He is a new father,
very intelligent man as well.
Yeah, very successful in the corporate sector, a real ambassador for the sport, as we've been talking about this morning.
So he had the under 1500 hurdles GPS record until Billy Blair broke it last year. Another great hurdler to come through this system. So just another practice start here with the hurdles set up. They look like they were about to go, didn't they?
Yeah, they were all called in at the same time. They're good at following instructions, these schoolboys. But no, Nick Huff, a real ambassador for the sport, as is Nick Andrews. They're obviously club mates as well at Sydney University, went on from their school days to both study at Sydney University. And Nick Huff, a very successful in the corporate sector, had a startup company, tech startup, which he sold
a lot of our
recently.
A lot of our Australian athletics team, Mackenzie Little as well, a doctor in the medicine degree, or
balancing
the procedure.
Rural placements.
She flies in and out of diamond leagues. Like a lot of people go over to Europe for stints, but
got to get back to Dubbo for a placement or something. So she's obviously the World Championship bronze medalist. The women's javelin stocks booming in Australia at the moment. There's a lovely shot of the real perfect conditions here at Sydney Olympic Park Athletic Centre. Probably, unless you're a 3,000 metre runner or a 1,500 metre runner, you're probably finding it a bit warm and coming off the back of winter, but spring has arrived with a bang. And a lovely shot of the Betty Cuthbert grandstand here at Sydney Olympic Park Athletic Centre. Now joined by the Kathy Freeman grandstand next door at the Olympic Stadium.
Iconic moments in Australian sport. They all start their careers in school-based athletics. What can these athletes produce now in the future?
So while they go in the division race here at open level, probably the quickest away was Douglas of Scots in the centre of the track, being ably pursued on his inside by Tubner of St Joseph's. And Tubner now getting up at the shoulder and going past Douglas of Scots. Two in it as they come into the line, and Tubner good enough with a big punch of the air. 15.77 for St Joseph's, and they continue to rack up the points here in the senior premiership, which, remember, they were leading the first time we checked, about a third of the way through the program. So young Braith Tubner putting on some more valuable points for St Joseph's, with Owen Douglas, the early leader through the first half of that race, just not able to stick